Yeah, actually, this is not my workshop. This is actually my kitchen. But just happened to just receive this piece of kit, and not this pony magazine, which actually belongs to my daughter, and it's not what we're going to look at today. Even though, truth be told, I did fill in some of the pony puzzles or unicorn puzzles or whatever. But nonetheless, let's look at what I actually received from an old friend today, which is actually a dot matrix printer. Yeah. So, welcome to my messy kitchen, by the way. Okay, so yeah. Star LC100 color. This means this is a printer. It's a very old printer, or not very old, but it's a retro printer, which I received from a friend of mine, and this is actually working. We actually tested it, so it's actually working, apart from the ink ribbon having dried out. You've probably seen a bunch of these in office settings in the, like, I don't know, early 90s or something like that, maybe even late 80s. I actually don't remember when the LC100 series was released, but Star was a major manufacturer of this type of printers. This is actually a very high quality unit, with a bunch of font settings and so on, in pretty nice condition. Although, this is the ink ribbon, so like I said, it works apart from the ink ribbon, which is here. It's completely dried out, so even if you twist it to get some new ribbon, the ribbon is completely dried out, and the chance of purchasing a ribbon like this today is very slim. Quite possibly that could be done on eBay actually, but I haven't looked, and I actually don't really care, because I wanted this machine for, there's no value in things like this, or practically no value at all. This is a nice old style port connector, by the way. So the reason I wanted this is for parts, because you can strip out some really nice parts from these earlier printers, because they were built, first of all, they were built to last, so there's some quality components in this thing. And the components are also, I have a cold, by the way, so I may sound horrible when speaking, or at least more horrible than I usually do, which is scary. So yeah, I wanted to strip it out for parts, because if you find one of these in like e-waste or something, there's some juicy stuff in this. The primary thing that we may want to look at, slide this print head away. First of all, we can see that it's a tractor printer. See the little pegs here? So it's for these long sheets of paper stuck together with holes on the edges, which you can then tear off. So it continuously feeds by using those holes. You've probably seen one of those strips of paper. So this is the print head. This one is useful for some electronics projects. There's some juicy stuff in there, but the main attraction that we are actually looking to salvage, let's see if we can get to it somewhere. Let's see, because this is a really nice part. So if you find one of these in like e-waste or recycling, just take it, just so you can get this thing, because here we have, yeah, there it is. As I suspected, this one has a Mitsubishi M5734 SP10, this is actually not just a logic chip, it's actually a full microcomputer. This is a CPU. This is a 10 megahertz CPU, which has its own instruction set, so you can program this. It can work with, it has its own RAM and I/O pins, which are, by the way, memory mapped by this unit. It's a very, very nice small processor, which you can build small computer systems from, which this printer is a small computer system in a way. So it uses this really nice 10 megahertz processor, which we want to extract from there, and that is what we are going to do now. We're going to extract this SP10 processor so we can use it for other projects. Okay, so here's the unit now, having removed the cover, some other stuff. So I removed this. This is just a switchboard, the front panel, and I had to take apart some other stuff, so took away cover so we can get access to the stuff inside, and then we can look at what's inside of it. Now, any background noise that you may hear is actually my beloved daughter, which is watching a cartoon, because like any discerning parent, while my daughter is watching cartoons, I'm in the kitchen trying not to electrocute myself on an old dot matrix printer. I did plug it in again, and it actually runs fine, but I'm not looking to preserve it because, like I said, there's really no discernible value in this thing. And it's not very useful. Can't do very much with it, but we're anyway gonna have a poke around what's inside it, see what we can strip out of it. And the thing we are most interested in is, like I said, the Mitsubishi microcomputer. That's the IC that we really want to pull. But there's other useful stuff in a printer, an old printer like this, if you find one in like electronics recycling or whatever. So let's have a look at what we've got here. I removed some stuff. So the front panel is standard ribbon cable, bunch of switches. So the row of buttons is actually mapped to, they're actually wired to a ribbon cable, and there's an incoming for the diodes, also going to the ribbon cable, probably controlled by said microcomputer IC. So this one, this one is e-waste. But on the other hand, we have a very, very nice power supply here. So it's your power switch. Your AC comes in here. So AC goes in here, and you have the pre-transformer, the pre-step transformer is here. A bunch of, this is the high voltage side, by the way, that I'm touching right now. And just had it powered up, so probably maybe some residual in this capacitors. Trying not to sap myself, but yeah, you know, it happens from time to time. Might happen now as well. That will be fun. So this is the primary side. You can see this is actually a really nice power supply design. So I think I'm gonna keep this as well. I wasn't intending to keep this, but this is actually really nice. A nice chunky transformer on the input on the primary side. Some filtering here. Goes over here. This one, these are standard bulky filter capacitors, and this is probably DB1, so that's probably diode bridge. This is probably your rectifying. This is your input side, and then you have the secondary or the output side. And I would think that the reason for this chunky transformer being in place here is also this is a very neat power supply design, and don't think it is a switching power supply, no, because there's no switching circuitry here, so it's actually okay. So it's just a straight appears to be straight transformer to here is the bridging. Okay, so it goes over to the secondary side, and I would guess that I'm gonna see if I can find some markings, but I would guess that it's probably higher voltage output. There's likely to be some sort of rather high voltage output somewhere for the motors, because this thing has some stepper motors, which I'm also going to try to save, so I'm guessing that there is some sort of output for that. Let's see if we can find. This is the regulated output, so let's see what it says. Okay, let's see if we can see that. It's not really easy. So the +5 on this side, and okay, that's not very high. That's probably for the circuit board itself. So okay, so it's only two. Okay, so it's only got two output lines. So it's +5 and +25 volts, and the 25 volts is likely to drive the heater head, which is here, and the motors. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this power supply setup. I'm actually gonna take it out and keep it as it is, because this is quite a nice, sturdy design. So having another cut, having disassembled this a bit further, and you look at that, some leaf here from either, I don't actually know if it's from inside the printer or it's actually just I'm behind on my kitchen cleaning anyway, so could probably be from some of the flowers that my loving wife keeps around the kitchen, which I completely neglect. So probably just leaves are just falling off out of sadness or something. But yeah, so okay. So first of all, this was the print ribbon. This is the ribbon cartridge. The printer, it's, as we would have expected, completely dry and completely out of ink, and looks like complete crap. So this one is shot, but I took out the power supply like I said I was going to do. So first of all, I got rid of all the casing and all that junk, put it in the e-waste, or rather my bin for stuff going to the e-waste, which is a rather large bin, which is getting full again. So very nice power supply, and actually a lot of fuses on it. I saw that just now. So there's no less than, let's see, there's one there somewhere there, so 1, 2, 3 even fuses. So very safe and secure power supply, very good one. I like this very simplistic but effective design of this as well. So and then I took out, this is one of the stepper motors I was talking about. These are actually really nice, sturdy motors to keep for other projects. I'm going to keep that one as well in my parts bin. So, and this is probably one of those needing the higher voltage. Like I said, I would think that the stepper motors and maybe the heater would need some more juice, whereas 5 volts is probably what drives this, which is the main logic board. So now we're getting to where we are wanting to get to from the beginning, because we want to rip this thing out. the Mitsubishi microcomputer IC here. That's the one you're after, right? But let's have a look at what else is on here just for fun. So your connector is here, I/O port. You have the typically this is resistors, and it's probably muxing somewhere here on the connector. This, I'm not sure what this is, but it says star on it, so I'm guessing it's some. This could actually be the printer equivalent of a BIOS, but because I think this might actually be the ROM, or it's some sort of logic chip, or even a microcontroller. Haven't looked this one up. I will, or you will probably do it for me when seeing this video. This, however, I'm pretty confident is where the fonts are. This is your ROM socket, so which is probably why it is socketed, so you can switch it out for a different one. I think this is font ROM, and it has an additional socket here which says I don't know, so one meg. So it's okay, 512. It's either 512K or 1 meg. So I think this one has room for additional fonts and typesets and so on by adding an additional ROM here. So this is probably the default ROM. Have a controller, some here, and some discrete components all around the board. Lots of jumping going on. You can see here lots of jumper wiring going on. So the discrete components, not that interesting. But I think I will rip out this ROM as well, and maybe this one if I get to actually Google what this is. On the other hand, this is what I'm primarily interested in, but it's a nice and clean logic board. Actually, the rear of it is also very nice and clean design. Really speaks of high quality stuff. But now let's rip this one out. So I will take this to the actual workbench, and we will get to desolder this. Okay. So I'm actually at the workbench now with the. I'm just gonna go with the iron, not the hot air station. I'm just gonna go with the iron because why not? Just happened to be easier to reach on the shelf and just some sort of plunger to remove this. So slow and tedious, but probably gonna work fine. Just took out some solder wick as well because who knows. So could use the hot air station as well, but actually can't be bothered to plug that in right now. We're just gonna, let me just move this Model M keyboard out of the way. I'm using this is a Model M keyboard and some sort of Logitech mouse, which just happens to be in the way all the time. This Model M keyboard, I'm using it as a combined stand for food and drinks, as well as sometimes a doorstop, whatever. I know that some guys probably think that an IBM Model M should be valued at $9 million on eBay. But yeah, so before you hipsters spit out your latte coffees all over your Model M's, just be aware that I don't give a flying crap. It's just an old keyboard. It's not gold. So I use it to
place my beverage on when I'm not typing on it. I actually have a lot of them. In fact, I do have like a half storage unit of Model M's for some mysterious reason. But never mind. That's not the point now. To talk about my obsessive collection of Model M's, which is an involuntary obsession because I actually didn't want them in the first place, but never mind. Now we're going to desolder this, and I will just probably cut out most of this part because it's boring. But I've got the iron set to 364, so it's set to 364 degrees on the soldering station, which should be, it's a bit high, but on the other hand, there's some junk on this board, like some flux residue stuff, so it might be needed to get good heating. And now we'll just clamp the board down, never mind, care. Start with the okay, so this one is actually, I don't know if you see it over there, that's the RAM chip. That is actually an 8 KB or an 8x8, I think, RAM, so I want that one as well, apart from the CPU. So it's like CPU or microcomputer unit, RAM and ROM. And the ROM I already removed because it's socketed, so I will steal this socket as well from this board. So yeah, let's just do this. So there's some heat in the, there's some heat in the iron, all right. And I think I'm going to, give me a second, I'm going to tin the iron just a bit, maybe, to get, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's hot. That's really, really hot. So 364. 364 is really, really hot. But yeah. So, tip looks better. So let's see if we can plunge these out. So I think we should be able to do that. Let's see. Put some heat on it, see what happens. Go. Yeah. That worked fine. Next one. That's good. Almost. Making sure not to burn the board. Not that I care really, because I'm going to put the rest of this board to e-waste anyway, so I don't really care, but yeah. Go. Yeah. By the way, this is boring. So I will cut to the part where we look over the parts. I'll just do some of these on my own without you guys. So CPU is out, our microcomputing unit is out, looks like this. Very nice. Really, really nice Mitsubishi 5734 SP. So this is 10 megahertz microcomputer unit. Very good for separate projects, like maybe building your own computer. You can actually build a microcomputer using that thing, because it has RAM and I/O mapping, and it has a 60 something, I think 63 or 69 something instruction set, so you can actually program that quite extensively. Okay, so now the RAM, which is here, because why not? Might as well steal that as well. And it's good. That's good. Sorry. Um, some more heat maybe. Here we go. That's better. And once again, this is excruciatingly boring, so I'll cut the video a bit again. So now here we have the RAM that we... Oh, sorry. Get it into the camera somewhere. So this is the RAM that we wanted to salvage, along with the 10 megahertz computing IC that we also wanted to salvage. So this is a very nice... Oops, bent a leg there. Sorry, bend it back. So these are very nice ICs to have lying around for maybe building a microcomputer or something like that. You could do that easily with this, or mimicking this setup, like CPU, RAM, and ROM. So yeah, might be an interesting project to come. Right now though, I will just stash these away, and the rest of this is e-waste. So yeah, so at least I found some nice stuff in this old printer. So thanks for watching this video, and see you whenever I'm out in the workshop again doing something completely random.